Hello guys, welcome back to this streaming session again. And in this streaming session, we revise the most important topic according to the interview perspective. And if you have to just make sure you have a strong DSA ability, if you have just like you have to just focusing on advanced JavaScript concept that you actually need in the development. So this revision session is for you because in this revision session we will revise the most important topic that we actually need to learn in JavaScript because without this concept you can't be even learn backend and solve the complex problem in the development. So this is the most important topic, and if you know these topics, you can be good in JavaScript. Okay, because everybody know who what is an array, what is object, and how to perform operation. But when it's come to an advanced async, await, a promises, callbacks, error handling, this is the topic that you need it because this will be used in a front end or a back end. Basically they used in both. Okay, so in this revision session we will revise it according to the interview perspective. So if you are also preparing for the interview, this streaming is also helpful for you. Okay, if you are excited, just comment down, and if not, write down the reason. Okay, but before starting this streaming session, we start the streaming session around 8:30 p.m. But first thing we just need to make sure is our internet connection is stable, is our video quality is okay, is our audio quality is okay or not. So here let me just check that it according to the interview perspective. So if you are also preparing for the interview, okay, so my voice quality is clear and everything is going on. So now let me just go to there and check the internet speed. And the internet speed is, let me just make sure, because most of the time we're facing the internet connection issue. So, well, first, if this is correctly and this is working properly, so we could just start this streaming session without any interruption. So right now the downloading speed is 25 Mbps. Much better than it is much better. It is enough to handle the streaming. Okay. So now let's moving to the streaming. Okay. The internet speed is, let me just, okay. One person is just voting yes. That's mean they have learned something today and exciting, and it's very grateful. Very great. Okay. 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 The uploading speed is still 16 Mbps and 70 Mbps. So now we will just not facing any problem issue because this internet speed is enough to getting live. So now just moving to the topics. Here you can see that I have created my own Notion template. I use this Notion template to revising the concept because if you are getting in the interview, they will most sure they will asking you a coding question, but they will direct ask the concept, and you can't just explain it by code by speaking. So you need to know the basic definition. Okay, if you know the some basic definition of that concept, so you can confidently say it to the interviewer and just crack your interview. Okay, and I just face this problem because just suppose that if you are an interview and they just asking you a question, just tell me what is promise. Can you just tell me that is anybody know what is promise? They just simply ask you what is a promise. You will understand that they will return something, but still you have to just process with the definition. Na. And mostly we have just focusing on a coding, so we just skip this part. So actually it's important. Not so much you have to just don't need to understand the 5 line or 6 line of definition. You just need to understand a 1 to 2 lines. So whenever anyone asks you, you can just explain it in a simple and easy structure. Okay. तबीयत भी खराब होती रहती है कुछ दिनों में. Okay. So now let's back to the streaming session, and here it is the concept. Okay, you will see that in yesterday I will revise this concept, but not in the live. I will just preparing this because it's an easy concept. If you are learning JavaScript and you are a beginner, you already know what is an array and how to use the map, filter, reduce method, find some array method, object creation, object method. You know the destructing, you don't know the spread operator. Spread operator is just like we have used the three dot to just spread an array, and rest operator is just used to combine then array into a one element. And here it's an JSON. You know that what is an JSON? JSON is just like a JavaScript object notation that is just used to store a lightweight data into a key values pair, and it is an easy to just human can read it easily and pass to the machine easily. It's just like to your server or a database. So that's it. Okay. And in this, we have to just revise the important concept just like callback. A promise is async. Wait, okay. Now just moving to the callback. If just suppose if you are in interview, okay, an interviewer you are ask you a simple question, Naman. Simple question, not no, Naman. Like you just simply ask you a question. Just tell me about what is callback. If you have an answer, just comment down. If you don't have answer, if you don't have answer, you know that you know the code, you know how to write a code, but most probably you don't know how to express in words. Is you face an is you face this problem? If you face this problem, just comment, because I just believe that the most beginner will face this problem. Okay, so in this we have to just solve fix this issue. So now let's start. So now the next question is the first thing, what is callback? If interviewer asks me a question, what is callback? So my answer is always a callback is a function that is passed to another function as an argument that is executing after the task is completely. It is commonly used in asynchronous programming. So let me just go to the VS Code, and here is the concept that I can just practice you. I just created open a new folder, not a new folder. If I have a already exist folder, it is a JavaScript interview question. Take a and just suppose I just simply go to the JavaScript async HTML and I just clear this code, okay? And let me just write down the code. First thing I just need to snooze this because it will just give you suggestion how I can just understand, okay? If this code we have just understand what is uh what is callback, ठीक है हम समझने वाले हैं, we will should understand what is callback in the JavaScript, ठीक है? So here it is at our VS Code editor, and we just simply said that callback is just like a function, ठीक है? Callback is nothing super, like callback is also a function, but it will run after it will perform any operation, ठीक है? So you can see that our definition is callback function is a function that it passes as an argument to another function and it is executed after the completion of the first function. So let me just creating a new function. The function name is just like a function, ठीक है? A function learning, ठीक है? Just like creating a code, नहीं, learn code, ठीक है? Here is our function learn code, and we just taking a two argument, ठीक है? The first argument is just like a name, ठीक है? A name. We don't pass the thing, we have to just take an argument, so we give the variable that we have just found, and here we just pass the function, and we just created another function in there and then we pass it as well. So the next function we have just taking a project, okay? It is a learn code, and here is a build project. It is a build project, we pass it there, and after that we have just simply write down just print the function. So we just simply write a console dot log and just print down, and just here we are, we just simply taking, this is a lexical scope, okay? You know that what is a lexical scope, how it work. You have just simply use the double ticks, and it is a name, okay? Just you can like a are you are you are learning, you are learning when you are learning good good enough today, okay? Here it isn't just a function. Whenever we call this function, it will be not called if, because it taking a two argument, okay? And whenever we have just, this is a one function, okay? And this is a build project, it is an also a function, but we don't assign it there, so we just simply copy it and write down a function and just pass it a build project, and we just simply log the and just write down now it's time to build project. Okay, here is our second function, and we just simply run this function into there. Okay, but we can't run it there, so we don't write a build project, we just simply write a build there. Okay, and we just not build, we have just callback now, so just write down callback so you can not confuse so much. It is a callback. Now we just simply call the callback function there. Okay, so here you can see that we have two functions. The one function is just like it will be print the name variable. Okay, and it will be just whatever you have just passed the name of that variable, it will be showing there. And after that, it this function will call. Okay, so I just simply go it there and just run the function. Okay, we don't need to run both function first, we simply just use the learn code, and we have just passed the two argument. The first argument is just passing a name, and the and second is I just need to pass the function. So I just pass the function. We not call it, we just pass the function, and in there we have just call this function. So I just simply go to the my you just will know that ki why I'm just using an HTML file to just run this code, because it will we can also using it will be whenever it's given error we can simply easily handle it, and whenever use our online compiler it gives so much error, so I don't use it compiler online compiler right now. Okay, so here you can see that the output is simple. Okay, you can see that we have just simply passed a Naman, you are learning good enough today, now it's time to build project. Okay, you will understand that what I'm just saying to, hey, you remove the charger cable because your laptop is fully charged. Should I just need to remove the charger? Because if I just remove the charger, there is so many chances it will be a chances of poor performance, because whenever it's just get a good internet connection, it give a good performance. Do you really think that? I think that key if the charging is full, it's good. Maybe it's good. Okay. So now I just see there, you can see that Naman, you are learning good enough today, and now it's time to build project. It will working perfectly. Okay, here you can see that this is a callback function. You can simply that we have just created a two function. One function is learn code and second is build project. And we just call this function and pass this function as an argument. Okay, so that's a good example of a callback. A callback is a function that is passed as an argument to another function, and it will be run after it executing the completion first time. Okay, and you can see the definition is there, and I just I don't learning and I just understand this definition as well. By the way, callback is a function. Okay, a callback is a function that is passed to another function. Okay, let me just can I just use it without looking at the answer? Just I remove this, and I just here is my answer. What is an callback? A callback is a function that is passed as an argument to another function, and it will be called after the function will be executed. Okay, after the task is completed. Okay, that's it. It is an basic answer of that question. Okay, and just like if interview just ask you a question that what is a callback, so you have an answer to just you can simply tell this definition. Okay, and I can just also you have understand this definition. Okay, it's not an hard and it's not a basically it's not hard, but if you're just working on complex project, you will just understand what's the use of that callback. Okay? And when you just call back, you will understand that we don't we just two function. We can use the four function, five function, many function. But we if use the so many function, it will be a nested function. So it will very difficult to handle it. So इनको हम क्या कहते हैं? We have just simply tell that callback help. ठीक है? And it will be fixed if so इस चीज को fix करने के लिए we should use promise. And what is promise? Let's just understand the promises. Okay. You can see that our definition is a promise is a JavaScript object that represents the eventual completion of failure of an async operation. It has three state pending, fulfill, and rejected. Okay. So I just need to go the promise now. So a promise is a JavaScript object that represents the eventual completion. Okay. So just like कि जो promise है, you have they just treated as an object and they will return are three stages. ठीक है, three stages like if you are call and just if you want to access the data from anywhere. ठीक है, not anywhere. So just as to access the data, it will be a three thing, वो तीन state पे रहेगा. The first state is just like a pending, ठीक है. If you are just sending a request, it will be not a approved or reject. They will be first thing pending, and the second stage is like it will give, and once is pending to go, that they will come to pending to operation. It will just give you a two output, a two return. It will be a approved or it will be a rejected. So that is a promise is just like they will return anything. Okay, just return the three, return two things. Okay, an approve or a rejected. You can see that in the definition. A promise is a JavaScript object that represents eventual completion of a failure of an async operation, and it has three states: pending, fulfill, and rejected. Okay. And now let me just check example of promises. So I just simply go it there and ask the chat GPT, give me a good example of promise in JavaScript. Okay. Okay, just send me a warning. But the internet connection is quality is okay. Okay. Does anybody who just struggling to just understand my voice? Is my voice okay? Because just yesterday I will just go live and I will just review the streaming session and I will just realize the voice is very low. As my voice is low and is okay. If it's low, just comment down. Okay. Here you can just see that is YouTube just sharing an impression. I'm always checking in my every streaming session to just make sure is YouTube just sharing enough impression to my streaming, because sometimes it will be just not share the impressions to on this. Okay. So here I just go to that reach, and okay, it will be just sharing a 95 impression. It is low, slightly slow right now, but it should be a fix in just few minutes. I will be just like ki, I currently be just streaming 16 minutes. Okay, it's not so much so much time right now. So now let's moving to the promises. Okay, I think it the context will be successfully generated by a chat GPT, and you can see that a promise is just like a something that will complete in future, either success or failure. Okay, and here it is example. Imagine you are ordering food online. Restaurant says food will be arrive in 30 minutes. If delivered, success. If cancelled, failure. Okay. And the 30 minutes that will be comes in pending topic. Okay. Here the basic promises. It is a const variable my function. A new promise resolve and reject. Let success equal to true. If success task completed successfully, else rejected something went wrong. Okay. And then it promise dot then console dot or result. And then if needed, कैच इफ रिजेक्टेड ठीक है. ये क्या करेगा देखो, सबसे पहले कॉस्ट माय इट विल बी अ न्यू प्रोमिसेस रिजेक्ट ऑन रिजॉल्व. एंड ये एपीआई का एग्जांपल है, तो हम इसको देखते हैं थोड़ा कैसे काम कर रहा है. ठीक है. fetch API is it is a function and return new promises resolve or a return. ठीक है. Return new promises and resolve rejected and set timeout. ठीक है. User contact user if user so ठीक है. Promise with async await. ठीक है. We should understand async await in just next, but we just need to understand that how it's gonna work. Okay, promises. So ठीक है. So now let's we just understand this example. ठीक है. So now just go to the chat GPT, and I think just need to comment this code. Okay, and here is the promise. ठीक है. Just need to unpause this because it could should help me to just. So now here is a promise. ठीक है. You can use this AI tool to just understand. देखो, you can see that a promise is an object. ठीक है. Promise is an object that represent the eventual completion. ठीक है. Represent that represents the. You should also then that you will also thought ki why you just don't putting the tab, so it will be the we don't need to just type every single word and words, because if you have to just study, you need to understand it. So use this method because you read it again, you read it also, you type it also. So there's just so many chances it will be in your memory for the long. So just use this method. I use this method for the few weeks, and I just feel ki it is a good method. Okay. A promise is an object that represents the eventual completion और failure. ठीक है. Eventual completion और failure. ठीक है. और failure. ठीक है. That's it. Often async operation and its result value, ठीक है? Async operation and result value, ठीक है? Now just here is a we just write a code, just like a function, and here you can see that it will just creating a reject a resolve normal you are learning enough today, and function dot now it's time to build project, ठीक है? And now we just call it there. And now just understand that how this code will work. Okay, we just need to understand that how this code is actually working. So first thing I can see that, see here, it will be a function lead code name, okay, and it will taking a one thing, okay, one as a parameter, and we just simply pass the parameter learn code, and when we go to there, it will return a new promises. A promises is resolve and request, and we have just working on a backend. We have just taking a request or response. That will be also a क्योंकि ना वो भी एक टाइम पे if you have to just working with the server ठीक है so you have to perform a two operation you have just sending a task or operation or you have to just extract and get the information ठीक है so this is an just like a res rejected response or rejection ठीक है that's it ठीक है and set timeout you know that a set timeout is just use an as of method just like you have to just make the synchronous code into asynchronous है ना and console.log name you are learning code enough ठीक है and after that we have just call the resolve function ठीक है and resolve function what they do ठीक है here you can see that resolve function what's the role of resolve function okay we have just should assign and creating a resolve function okay so resolve function का काम क्या आया because we have just simply call it but it will call which function it is a build project if they just learn code work then build project call कर दो ठीक है and the build project will be here and it will be called and just be simply given output so what is the role of resolve I just simply go to that output let me see here you can see that number it will take a 2 second okay of course because I will be setting a time but if we have to just remove the resolve there if we have just comment resolve should this code is still working I just need to check Naman, you are learning good enough today, but the next code is not working. And the reason is just like ki, if we just pass this value, oh, it's not why this not work. Reject is used to indicate the completion of the promise. How to pass the result to the promise. ठीक है. Then next then ठीक है. Resolve का हम क्या करते हैं? What is the resolve method do? What is resolve? What is resolve do? ठीक है. Good question. What does resolve do? Simple answer resolve is used to successfully completion a promise and send to the result.then. Take it. Resolve what is called is just like change and pending to fulfilled. Take it. The value you pass inside resolve goes to then. Okay, okay. Yeah, I now understand it, how it's just work. Okay. And resolve it's working as a like key whenever we a user just click on run this function resolve we just pass just make sure the final output is rejected or approved है ना okay my voice is like Naman you are learning good enough today but the next code resolve Hi, PCC Cricketer Shots. What's your name, buddy? Just mention your name sometimes. If you have, just don't mention your name because I like to just used to talk using names. Okay. Resolve. Mm-hmm. Here is a resolve, and I just simply go to this. You are learning good enough today, and I will be. Just need to understand that resolve हमने कर लिया. Go to that notes and promises. We have also understand what is a promise. A promise is a JavaScript object that represent the eventual completion of a failure of a compression. ठीक है. Promise क्या? A promise is a JavaScript object that represent a eventual completion of a failure of an asynchronous operation. It has three states: pending, fulfilled, and rejected. Okay, now we have also understand the callback and we use the promises to handle callback hell. Okay, callback hell को कहते हैं कि callback hell happen when multiple function nested inside each other, making the code hard to read and maintain. Okay, so we use promises. Okay, and here is the most important topic, async await, because most of the time we use async await. And let me just understand it and go to there and let me just check that. Hi, buddy. Hi, hi. Ritesh Chaudhary. Hey buddy, hey, you are a computer science student, everybody. You have just watching this streaming session. Is everybody who's a computer science student, who's a BTech or a BC student? Just mention your branch as well, and you just PC cricketer shorts you. What's your name actually, buddy? Okay, so now just go to there and just go to the chat GPT, and I use the chat GPT as my interviewer. So just I give the prompt there. I just need to just give a prompt, right? It use voice. Okay. Hey chat GPT, act as an interviewer who just recorrect my just like hey ChatGPT, act as an interviewer who taking my interview and just fix my answers and corrections and give me in a structured manner so I just remember it. Okay, that's it. And let me just go to there and I will be just key. Okay, it will be just fix the grammar, improve structure and make it professional. So it is a interviewer preparation tips. Okay. So now just moving to start with the first interview question. BTech IT. Okay, you are a BTech IT student, bro. You are also learning web development. You are learning web development, bro. Also, you are also learning web development. Is yes, just write down. If you are also learning a web development, okay. So interviewer asked me a question. What is async await? And here is my answer. Async await is used to handle asynchronous programming that will take time, and we have to handle using a promises and callbacks. Okay. My answer is I know that my answer is totally wrong, ठीक है, because I don't have remember the definition yet, but I just use it. And let me just check that. Here you can see that async await is used to handle asynchronous programming. That will be time that will take to handle to using a promise. ठीक है, your original answer is, and it will be just a problem, grammar mistake, not clearly explained, and confused sentence and no structure. So let me just here is the correct structure interview answer. ठीक है, I know that I was wrong, but I still used it because if you're just getting, I haven't started yet. How do I start out? Are you also a BTech or a BC graduate student? No, bro, I'm not a graduate student. I'm a final year BC student who has learning a web development. By the way, my web development is completed. Now I am just looking for the internship and job, and I just need a revision. So I just go live every single day and practicing my skills. That's it. Okay. And if you have just also you want to learning development, so just can you just tell me that in which semester you have and how much time, if you have to learning, you want to learning quick faster, and you have a so much time. If you have a so much time, then I give you another resources, I will prefer you another resources. And if you have less time and more time, I will give the according to that. Okay, so just mention it if you have a time, by the way, take. And async await is a modern way to handle asynchronous operation in JavaScript. Okay, it is a very basic and simple definition. If they just if interviewer ask you a question, what is async await? So it is a async await is a modern way to handle synchronous asynchronous operation in JavaScript. Okay, it make asynchronous code look and behave like synchronous. Okay, it make asynchronous code look like behave like synchronous code, which make it easier to read and understood. Okay, AI is I. I have no time left. I have also a last semester student. Okay, you have also a last semester student, and if you don't have so much time, so first thing you just need to remember, you know the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a basic front end. You know the basic front end. If you know the basic front end, so then I think I have the best resources that you just need to hear, because Merge Stack is good, but is right now if you are just looking for a job, you can see the so many opportunities, and they just want you to know the Next.js and TypeScript. So Merge Stack is not is only enough. Okay, I have completed a Merge Stack, but along with that, now I'm learning a Next.js as well. Okay, generative AI is important, bro. Generative AI is important, and I think the the generative AI is more important than a development item, because web development is a good career. Okay, in good career in 2020, but in 2026, the crowded market. There is so crowded market and so much traffic in a web development. So if you have just going to the generative AI, there is still competition, but maybe lesser than a web development. Okay. I have not touched JS. I just vibe code. Bro, I just know vibe coding is so much easier. Okay? I can also building a project yesterday using a anti-gravity code editor, but if you have to just go to the interviewer and just whenever you are looking for a job or internship, okay, you need to crack an interview. Okay? An interviewer just don't ask you a question ki just build that project using an AI tool. They just ask you a basic questions related to the programming, and if you give the answer correct, you are hired, otherwise not. So make sure you have to just focusing on basic JS. Okay? Vibe coding, it's cool. Once you have just understand the basic, you can use. But if you have never touched the code by yourself and programming, ठीक है, it's vibe coding, it's dangerous for your career, by the way, ठीक है. By the way, there is so many job is taken by an AI right now, but still I just said कि use your programming skill, ठीक है. Programming भी करो bro, just like करो. I just want कि करो थोड़ा बहुत, ठीक है. And async, just like me go to there, ठीक है. The best thing, if you have to just, I'm preparing for interview, ठीक है. And this is streaming, the main purpose of this streaming session to just, I'm also preparing for that interview, ठीक है. So I just make sure if interviewer ask me this type of basic thing, because callback, a promise, a async, await, fetch, API, error handling, this is the term that you actually need. If you are doing vibe coding is okay, but this is the term that you actually need, because most of the tasks we have implement, we use this functions and this word. You at least you know what is callback. Did you anybody who just watching this mini segment, who you know that what is callback, what is promise, async, await, and you is no, everybody's no. Let me just view that. Okay. Is anybody who just know async await, use an API tool, use an API sometimes to integrate it in your projects? Is my voice quality is okay? Is my voice okay to everybody? Because I just want you to just give me a response, okay? Because I have my study session is completed, okay? I have finished my study before 7 p.m., okay? And after that, I just go to the streaming session to just revise my concept that I've studied today. So that's why I have some time to just talk to the random person who's related, also doing what actually I'm doing. So just check, okay? If you have just question, just ask me. So I just give the answer, and you can also share your perspective of learning and related to the tag, that you can just give the advice to that who watching this streaming session. So it is very beneficial for that also. Okay? And just like now, and just I write the answer. Async await is a modern way to handle. Okay? So I just don't copy paste. I just go to that uh there and just write down what is async. Okay? So here is a async await, and right here is my answer. Async. It is a modern ठीक है, it is a modern JavaScript. It is and comes in ES6. ठीक है, you know that ES6. ठीक है. Does anybody just know what is ES6? I just also mentioned in a thumbnail. You know that ES6. What is an ES6 is? ठीक है. It is a modern JavaScript. It is a modern JavaScript technology. To it is a technology. I just use a technology. How many internship you have done? And I one internship, but I just not completed because the reason is just like simply the location is too far away from my home, and I just going for 2 weeks, and after that I will not manage my time because semester exam is also coming, and so I just leave that job. And this is a front end job, okay? And this the stipend is also less, okay? But as a starting, I just don't focusing on a stipend because I'm going for learning, not to earn some money. But just like I'm just now I'm preparing for a full stack because in front end the hiring is very less, okay? I just doing an internship in around October or November, I think. In last October, November, I doing an internship of front end development, but I just leave it. So I just I after that I just getting an exam in December, and I will be busy in some few work, so I just don't type. So now I'm just preparing for an good internship. I'm targeting good internship. Okay, there is so much Lala company who just don't expect you to work like 10-year experience and they don't pay you good. Which college, if you can say, which which college, if can say. I can't understand your question. Which college, if can say? I can't understand your question. Just like which college, if can say, or where are you from, bro? I'm from Delhi. I'm from Delhi. Delhi में दिल्ली से हूँ घर से हूँ. Simple answer. Okay. Okay. And the answer is just like async a modern ways to handle. It's a modern way to handle asynchronous operation in JavaScript. ठीक है. The simple answer is it is a modern way. ठीक है. Async await. It is a modern way to handle. It is a modern way to handle asynchronous. It is a modal way. It is a modern way to handle asynchronous programming. ठीक है, that's it. Pro, ठीक है. Just is my I just wrong write a wrong just like I think in programming the PRO. Okay, now it's okay. It will be taking a two double M. ठीक है, ठीक है. Oh, good. Okay. By the way, where are from you? You all are which watching from which cities? Are you from Delhi as well? In Delhi, there are so many. I have go everywhere like in Delhi. So you are which from which? If you are from Delhi, because anybody is from Delhi, async await is a model, okay, and it is a what is it? It is a model. It is used to handle asynchronous operation, okay. The simple definition is if interviewer asks me a question, Naman, what is the async await? So here's my answer. Here's my answer. It is a modern way to handle asynchronous. It is modern way to handle asynchronous operation, okay. Not a asynchronous programming, asynchronous op operation in Java script. ठीक है. Okay. Here is the sync await. It is a modern way to handle asynchronous operation in JavaScript because the simple you can also say that because is typo mistake काफी हो रही है because JS is async because JavaScript is a synchronous. ठीक है. Because JS is a synchronous language and we use async await. ठीक है. And we use async and we use async await asynchronous operations. Okay, here it is an answer. Good, good. Take care. Bro, the Notion template look damn good. Can you provide the link of it? Yeah, yeah, I can also provide the link of this. By the way, I just taking so much time to build this, but yeah, I just provide you. If you just want कि मैं बनाऊँ इसको तो मैं तुम्हें बाय द वे आई कैन जस्ट यू हैव टू सेट अप दिस टेम्पलेट ठीक है क्योंकि एग्जैक्टली तुम्हें पता नहीं चलेगा सो मैं तुम्हें इसका एक ओवरव्यू बता दूंगा कि तुम्हें इसको सेटअप कैसे करना है बिकॉज इट्स जस्ट लाइक कि यू कैन सी दैट आई हैव क्रिएटेड दिस टेम्पलेट हियर इज अ स्पेस रिपीटेशन सिस्टम ठीक है यू नो दैट in 2026 just like कि you are a person who just doing doom scrolling ठीक है using so much social media you have to just learn something only one time and just moving to the next and then you have to just forget the last thing and just there's someone I just watching so much on chat gpt ask the chat gpt on youtube so it is an only method if you have to learn anything if you have to just learn anything and you have to understand thing you need to learn this again and again so I just use the space repetition web development if you go to the notion and just write down a space repetition template it will give you this kind of template here you can just simply add the topic started it and here is a round one okay and this is a pending of I just started in from january but I have don't completed it so just like I'm already so much late so right now I'm just preparing this it is in completely from a front end and this is a HTML CSS it's a JavaScript and JavaScript object and this is a React concept then here we have just a basic deployment check here is a core backend and Node.js Express.js and security and deployment and थोड़ा बहुत clouding hosting सब चीज़ें ठीक है so I just need this concept if you have to just becoming a full stack mon stack developer so this is an basic is essential thing that I need to know it is a not a complete but it's because this context is completely created via 80-20 rule ठीक है you know that a 80-20 rule because just like I've from the last few months I will be learning using a 80-20 rule because I just think कि learning everything is bullshit ठीक है learning everything is useless ठीक है so just focusing on that thing that is actually needed ठीक है that is just use 80-20 rule the 20% task will be handle your 80% thing ठीक है and I just use this using an chat GPT so just like कि थोड़ा बहुत believe है कि okay okay है ठीक है so now I'm just moving to there and here is the notion template where I am it is a javascript advanced ठीक है here is an async await so you can see that just need to check the answer async await it is a make asynchronous code look and behave like ठीक है you can also just like कि I just write down because JS is a synchronous language and we use asynchronous to handle asynchronous operation ठीक है and you can also set that it make asynchronous code look and behave like synchronous code which make it easier to read and understand ठीक है this is a good definition I can just simply don't paste it ठीक है I just don't paste it. By the way, I've just copied but not pasted because it's not a good thing. It make asynchronous code look behave. Okay. It make asynchronous code look behave like like synchronous like synchronous ठीक है and synchronous code which make it easier to read ठीक है synchronous code so it is easier it is easier to read maintain ठीक है read maintain and understand ठीक है here's the basic definition you need to know because in any interview question if you are just looking for a front end or a back end they mostly chance they are will asking you a question in async array ठीक है yeah I am at the some level as you can but I haven't received a damn single thing ठीक है ठीक है Yeah, I am at same level as you, but haven't revised a damn single thing. देखा? I just believe that कि मतलब ना जो चीज मैं relate करता हूँ ना most of the time मेरे viewer भी relate करते हैं because sometimes you just what happen you just study thing ठीक है if you are most of the probably if you are watching the streaming session and you are learning a web development mostly you watching and learning using tutorials ठीक है so most of the time just like कि you have to learning watching tutorial and just like कि 1 hour tutorial completed you will learn that thing code using that video and moving to the next ठीक है and this will be completed and once you just completed the entire course and you just look back you will just realize you can't understand anything because just like your brain is your storage and your focus everything just कम हो चुका है ठीक है so you just need to learning and you need to repeat use the repetition method ठीक है that's it ठीक है and I also use this method this year ठीक है two months is already gone but I will just still you can also see that na you can also see that I have just even don't completed I started it on 1 January ठीक है I will be just thought कि 1 January से I will started the ये merge stack revision and I will be just here you can see that it will be from 27 December that I've completed ठीक है I will not take that because this is concept I already revised but I don't revise it ठीक है once I just study it I'm just moving to the next JS and TypeScript and then I just thought कि कर लेंगे कभी ठीक है and I will it will be never completed if I can't ठीक है so I just doing this okay because repetition is the if you have learned anything you need to understand that repetition is method repetition is very important if you can't repeat it the thing you have learned you get lost ठीक है तुम्हें समझ नहीं आने वाला ठीक है और ये मैं रिसर्च करी है मैंने सो आई जस्ट बिलीव कि if you are also a person like me who's struggling you can relate this thing okay you can relate this thing okay so now just moving to the topic next topic and here it is a sync of it a fetch API ठीक है now what is a fetch API ठीक है fetch API का क्या होता है API is just like just go to the chat GPT and here you can see that you can also relate this thing ठीक है if you just go to the chat GPT and just write down the same prompt that I have written there ठीक है act as an interviewer who's taking my interview and just fix my answer and correct and give me the structured manner so I just remember it okay ठीक है you just simply use this prompt and ask the chat GPT and just give that act as this and you just simply give an answer to them and it will fix it because you also know that if you have to go to interview it just simply ask you this kind of question how you can handle this thing ठीक है because I'm also facing a problem because just once I getting an interview in last they were taking me a question like what is promise channing ठीक है who's anybody in the streaming who's knows promise channing just tell me that you know the promise channing a promise or a channing ठीक है just like I'm write down in the chat is anybody know what is promise changing नहीं है CHA ठीक है promise channing what is promise channing okay here it is ठीक है is anybody know what is a promise channing ठीक है because it's a very important interview question they are just asking me 2 times ठीक है and one time I am just not giving but second time I will just giving because after that interview I will prepare this question ठीक है you know that what is a promise channing you just know that what is a promise channing just comment down because it is a it is a good topic ठीक है most of the interviewer they will ask you a question what is a uh, promise channing ठीक है ठीक है promise channing और callback hell both are look similar ठीक है both are look similar but it's not in completely same okay so it's just like is there anybody who's just watching that streaming and if you just understand that you just need to write in the write in the comment section okay so I will just go to there and let me just check that what is that thumbnail is look like because Today I just use I also make this thumbnail using an AI tool. ठीक है, so AI का तुम्हें implement करना आना ही चाहिए. ठीक है, you should know that कि how to implement AI tool. Okay. So now just here is the just test it. ठीक है. Interviewer asked me a question, what is fetch API? Now give me a simple and easy structured answer. Why the internet speed is slow? It's just like I need to just check the internet speed connection. I just need the internet speed test. Is the connection speed is getting worse? I think I need to plug in the charger. And the, just like a first comment, the person who just told me that if you just your charging is full, I just still connected it. Does it their chance of performance on the basis of the battery consumption? Okay, so here it is. And now let me just refresh this. Okay, so it's working. है So I thought कि the streaming got disconnected, but still the streaming is alive. ठीक है, it is not dead. So here I can just see the answer. If you answer like this, normally waste fetch API is used to get the data from server. ठीक है, that is too short for incomplete. ठीक है, most of the time, but the probability is just like if they can ask me a question, you can also have answer is like a fetch API is used to get the data from server. ठीक है, this is too short and incomplete. So here is the exact answer. Is the exact answer is a fetch API is a modern JavaScript method used to make HTTP request. ठीक है, what is fetch API? It is a modern JavaScript method. Fetch API क्या है? It will also come in modern JavaScript method. So just like used to make HTTP request. ठीक है, so I can just simply now note down this thing as also. So fetch API. Okay, here's the answer. API is fetch API is used to get API is, it is a modern method. Fetch API is a modern method to make HTTP request. Okay. What is the simple? Okay, here is a simple and easy definition. ठीक है, fetch API is a modern method to make HTTP request. ठीक है, used to make HTTP request, used to make HTTP request and to a server. ठीक है, it is mainly used to get or send data from to an API. ठीक है, it request to a server. It is mainly used to get or send. ठीक है, HTTP request to server. ठीक है, to a server. And it is mainly. ठीक है, it is just like if you have used an API का purpose ही क्या होता है? An API is a application programming interface and that is used to just fetching the data from the server. ठीक है, it is just a basic thing. We use an API if we want to get the data. ठीक है, if we want to get data from anything, we have just simply send a request to the server and it will give the result and give the output. Okay. Oh. Okay, so here it is. A fetch API is a modern method to make HTTP requests to a server. ठीक है, fetch API it is a modern method to make HTTP request. It is mainly used to it is mainly used to it is mainly used to get and send the data to the used to get and send the request. है ना? We have seen request now. We used to get or send data used to get or send data from to n from or to n है ना from or to n from data from to an API. ठीक है, from from to an API, from, mm-hmm, from to an API. Here it is an answer. ठीक है? It is a basic answer. If anyone is asking you what is an fetch API, simple answer is a fetch API is a modern method to to s- to to use HTTP method. HTTP request is a modern method to make HTTP. Okay? Fetch API क्या है? Fetch API is a modern method to make HTTP request to the server. It is mainly used to just like it is mainly used to send or used to get or send the data using send and get the data from to an API. Okay. Fetch API is also here. Okay. And now we just completed. Now just moving to the next is error handling. Okay. What is an error handling? And here I just simply asking interviewer ask me a question, what is an error handling? And I just give the quick answer. Error handling is used to handle the errors using the try, catch, throw method. And simply, I just simply that's answer and just give me a structured way. Okay? Because I literally just like try catch क्या करते हैं? First thing you have to just like a function use first thing implement this in try. If it's not working, just catch an error from that data and just give the result. So I just use it. It is a very simple, but I just need a correct and structured answer. Okay. Mm, okay. Now just see the answer. Error handling is used to handle the error using the try, catch, and throw method. Okay. Your idea is correct, but your delivery break between. Let's fix it properly. Take a problem repetition, sentence incomplete, not confident, not structured. Take it. Here it is. Error handling is a process of managing and controlling error in a program, so that the application does not crash unexpectedly. Okay, I will just continue in there. Just you wait a few minutes. My water is empty. I just need to fill this. Okay, ये भी गायब हो गया क्या? Okay, okay, it will be just detect a human being. If it's a bottle in that camera, it will be working. Nice RTS, nice RTS. Okay, I just need to fill it with just wait a few minutes. Okay, I will be just back soon in few minutes. So I am back. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I just said tell a few minutes, and most probably the whole streamer was gone. All was gone. Seriously? You are just not waiting just 1 minute or 2 minutes for me. हम्म, इसलिए छोड़ के चली गई ना तुम्हें. By the way, I'm just always try to just speak in English in this streaming session, and I mostly my mostly sentence formation in English. So just you just can you just give me is my English is good? Not good, matlab just average काम चलाओ. Is my English काम चलाओ? Because I would just like I use but the main purpose of this streaming session is also to just improve for my communications skill. Okay, so now let's back to the streaming, and we have understand that fetch API and error handling. Okay, and now just write the answer of error handling, and here it is an structured. Okay, best short and error handling is a technique used to manage runtime error in a program so that the application does not crash. In JavaScript, we handle error using try, catch, and throw. The try block contain risky code. Okay, the try block contain risky code. Catch handle the error, and throw is used to create custom error. Okay, if interviewer asks me async for error handling, you can say in async await we use try catch to handle reject promises. Okay. Async await में हम क्या करते हैं हम try catch use करते हैं ठीक है we can't use the throw in there okay and I just will be used in async await में ठीक है I never use it as a normally because I just like use and try and catch method so why we just need to remember this by the way this answer is amazing ठीक है so I write down this answer in my notion and then I can just revise it ठीक है error handling is a technique used to manage runtime error ठीक है simply error handling is a technique ठीक है just copy this error handling is a technique technique used to runtime used to handle runtime errors. ठीक है used to handle runtime errors in a program so that the application does not crash in a program in a program so that the application application don't crash ठीक है so the application does not crash application does not crash okay error handling is a technique used to handle runtime error in a programming and we here's the next is in JavaScript we handle error using try catch and throw ठीक है simple term ठीक है simple you have to just you need to understand this also ठीक है it is use I give the answer in a simple manner so if you use the error handling you can also understand it ठीक है by the way fetch API का मैंने तुम्हें मेथड नहीं दी क्योंकि उसके लिए फिर API करना पड़ेगा and async await का I just also give you but by the way if you just want I can also created I also in a previous revision session I used an API ठीक है by the way in error handling we just simply go it there and let's go to the function just creating a try and catch function ठीक है and just use it AI ठीक है we don't need to write this code we have to just need to understand it okay so you just don't need to type you just need to read more need to understand more and understand to yourself more that's is thing okay here you can see that async await we have don't focusing on async await we have is a try catch okay try and catch is a statement that allow you to handle error in your code the try block contain the code that may throw an error okay and the catch block contains the code that will be executed if an error is thrown ठीक है simple so now we have just used simply क्या करते हैं we have just created a function ठीक है function fn ठीक है एंड हेयर इज अ वेरिएबल, ठीक है। सिंपल सिंपल लेते हैं बाय द वे, ये तो थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स हो गया। वी हैव टू जस्ट नॉट नीड टू पास, डोंट नीड टू मतलब पास एन ऑब्जेक्ट, ठीक है। ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ हम काम कर सकते हैं, बट वाई वी जस्ट नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड ना, इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स क्यों बनाते हैं, ठीक है। Here you can simply see that try, ठीक है। Let variable a be, ठीक है। Let c is equal to b c, if c is equal to में infinity, zero is not allowed, ठीक है। I just don't need to this, so I just simply remove this, and now I just simply call the function fn and just go to that window screen and let me see the output, ठीक है। Division by zero is not allowed, ठीक है। So it just given an error, I think division by zero is not allowed. So you can see that a b is zero, but what if we just giving 10 there? So what is the output? Nothing output, ठीक है। But it will be given through an error, ठीक है। because c is not an infinity, if c is equal to में infinity है तो जीरो हो जाएगा। कोई अच्छा एग्जांपल क्या दूं मैं तुम्हें इसका? गिव मी जस्ट लाइक, चल ये भी चैट जीपीटी से पूछते हैं, ठीक है। गिव मी अ गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ ट्राई एंड कैच। Why its internet is, it is literally so slow. I just need to check it again, because this, most of the time will be I'm not disconnecting the streaming. It will be disconnected automatically due to a bad internet connection. ठीक है, okay. So it is a simple error, ठीक है। console dot result, ठीक है। error dot message, ठीक है। And you can see that simply a 10 is a value and 0. If you have divided and if you have performed any operation with the 0, the result will be a 0, ठीक है। So console dot result, and the best practical is just like you have to just a user dot json dot name dot number and console dot user dot name and catch a invalid json format, okay। बेसिक चीज़ है वैसे, फैच पे अब इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स, वी डोंट नीड टू मेक इट दिस थिंग सो मच कॉम्प्लेक्स, यू कैन सिंपली सी दैट, ठीक है। if that and just catch, try and catch, ठीक है। console dot error, it is in basic code, ठीक है। we have to just need to moving toward forward, but first we have to just complete this code, ठीक है। error handling is a technique that used to handle runtime error, ठीक है। we have used the try catch, we have used the try catch. Error handling is a technique used to handle runtime error in a programming, so that the application does not crash, okay, simply। and क्या कहते हैं, we use we use or I use, just check me the sentence correction, we handle error, ठीक है। that is a we handle error using try catch and throw method, ठीक है। and here is that key, we hmm, write risky code in try, and and try risky code, that they actually just like कि the try block contain risky code, catch handle the error, ठीक है। write risk write risky code and, ठीक है, just like प्रॉपर ही कर देते हैं ना, try handle risky code while just like try handle uh risky code while catch, try handle risky code while catch handle errors, and throw is to used to send custom error na, used to create your own custom error, used to create custom error, used to create a custom app. Okay. We have to just whenever we are building a production ready application, at that time we have used so much in throw. But if you have to just start development, you don't need to just using a throw method. Okay. Most of the time we can't use the throw. Most probably we have used a try and catch. Okay. We most of the time we avoid the throw method. Okay. And now just moving to the this and error handling is also completed. And now just need to understand what is event loop. Okay. बेसिक आइडिया होना चाहिए आई थिंक व्हाट इज एन इवेंट लूप इज व्हाट इज अ इवेंट लूप इन जावास्क्रिप्ट इंटरव्यूअर आस्क्ड मी अ क्वेश्चन व्हाट इज इवेंट लूप गिव मी अ सिंपल इजी स्ट्रक्चर्ड आंसर सकता है कि एक थी ना चाह जो दिल ही दिल में हसीना थी a दीवाना what is event loop simple definition the event loop is a mechanism it by the way I'm just not targeting to becoming a full-time creator yet because whether I'm preparing for internship. But what you have just think that should I need to focusing on a full-time content creation? So it is a good career path rather than a becoming a developer. But by the way, tech I like also tech, so I just exploring this as well. It is a जुगाड़ इंडिया वाले जुगाड़ करते हैं ना just using this जुगाड़. Okay. By the way, most of the time viewers said me tell me कि you have to use your mic because I think the voice quality of this is not good, na? It is an like something चुभने वाली आवाज थोड़ी. Hmm. Now let's see the answers. The event loop is a mechanism in JavaScript that allow asynchronous. The event loop is a mechanism in JavaScript that allows asynchronous operation to run without blocking the main thread. ठीक है. JavaScript is a simple threaded, meaning it is can do one task at a time. The event loop help manage asynchronous tasks like set timeout, API calls, promise, stop event. ठीक है. Why do we need it? ठीक है. Because JavaScript run on a single thread. ठीक है. It cannot wait for long tasks. ठीक है. सिंगल थ्रेड लैंग्वेज है जावास्क्रिप्ट ये तो पता था ठीक है बट इट कैन नॉट वेट फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम एपीआई कॉल so instead of blocking the program long tasks are sent to web apis and when ready they go to queue ठीक है the event loop moves them back to the call stack and it is empty ठीक है how it's work code goes callback ठीक है call stack ठीक है async task to the web api complete task to callback queue microsoft queue ठीक है JavaScript is a single threaded and the event loop is a mechanism that manage asynchronous operation. ठीक है JavaScript synchronous language JavaScript single threaded and it is continuously checked. These are just like facing so many internet connection. Okay, it will be not reloading also. You need to check this speed connection. Okay, the drop frame rate will be a 56%. It will reduce so much. That's why no one can understand that in the interview just the comment who just I don't giving a reply in structured just wait go it and check that ठीक है हाँ I can always do both by the way this is an also good option I just taking a one boat taking two boat in a river and just one leg in another and one leg in another huh by the way just focusing on to becoming both thing ठीक है because in 2026 just you have to just need to find the opportunity and content creation and learn in public is the best method so I choose this method ठीक है to learning. By the way, you are just like a computer science student. So, what are the methods according to you is best to learn in quickly? By the way, after that YouTube, ठीक है? I just I'm just doing good in YouTube, by the way. And by the way, you are also doing something, learn in public or anything. Or is anybody who's here who just want to become a content creator but they don't started because of the perfectionism or self-doubt or just कल से करूँगा या फिर बाद में करूँगा ऐसे वाला बहाना कुछ. Because I just like कि stream is good. No lag, bro. Oh, thanks, Suraj, bro. Come back. You are here. Finally. Okay. So let me just check that JavaScript single threaded. ठीक है. So now next is JavaScript is a single threaded. ठीक है. JavaScript is a single threaded and the event loop is a mechanism. ठीक है. And event loop is a mechanism. An event loop is a mechanism that manage asynchronous operation. ठीक है. That manage asynchronous operations. ठीक है. Asynchronous operation. It continuously check. It is continuously. It is continuously check. Hello, hello, bro. Hello, Daniel. Daniel. Daniel or Dan. Hello, bro. Hello, hello. Welcome. I was just telling that welcome back to the streaming session. I just realized this is not that person. Okay, okay. Why I just facing an internet connection, bro? Is I'm facing an internet connection, bro? Suraj, bro, is my streaming is lagging because they just give me an pop-up. Okay, drop frame rate will be 32%. So there is so many chances as a problem in streaming. Is my streaming is okay? Is my voice quality is audible to everyone? And my voice or video quality poor internet connection. Is it poor or not? So here it is in JavaScript single thread and it went loop. Oh, okay, just like waiting a call. Let's go live. Getting a call every time. Hello? I am back, guys. Sorry for the delay. By the way, everything is awesome. Keep it up. Okay. LAN केबल लेके आओ ब्रो. LAN केबल. चलो लाते हैं, जुगाड़ करते हैं LAN केबल का भी अच्छे से. थोड़ा सेटअप बिठाएंगे अच्छे से, सिस्टम. हाँ सूरज ब्रो, you have just sent a message me on LinkedIn and I just totally agree with that, and after this streaming session I will working on that thing that you have told me. Okay. This is, I think, really helpful for me if I just want to grab some good base, a good audience. Okay. So I just need to use this method. Okay. So now I have to just, I'm where I just study, I'm just revising. Okay. So JavaScript is single threaded, and event loop is a mechanism that manage asynchronous operation. Okay. And it is continuously check if the call stack is empty, and if so, it move task from the callback queue to the call stack. Okay. This allowed JavaScript to handle asynchronous tasks like API calls and timers without blocking execution. Okay. So if interpreter asks you deeper, this promise is just like a JavaScript executes that manage asynchronous operation. Okay. Problem will be fixed because it will be connected to the wrong internet connection. That's why it's taking a buffering. And now you can simply see that as my video quality will be improved and voice quality, everything will be improved. Okay. So now just go to there, and it continuously check if the stack is empty. It continuously check if the stack is empty. If the stack is empty, stack is the stack is empty, and if so, okay, it will be check the stack will be empty or not, because you have to just calling any function. You can just, I simply go to there, and you just simply go to the console dot network. Okay, and here you can see a breakpoint. You can just simply go to that. That is my code, and when you just break down the function, okay, it is the stack. Okay, and when you just click to break down to the, okay, you can see it is a JavaScript code, and you can see that the code, and when you just run this code, you can see that it will be going from there. And where is our stack is showing, you can see that there is our call stack, and when we click on this, you can simply see that they will go to this and this, and you can see that the stack will be anonymous, and once you have this, a call stack is empty because all the operation will be performed. Okay, this is an exactly use of debugging method. If you have ever used this thing, you can, if you have to just struggling to understand the function, you can simply use this method. So first thing, we have to just remove this, otherwise it will be the make the code okay, let me just go to there. Yeah, okay, everything going fine. Okay. Okay. There was a single threaded, and it is continuously checked if the stack is empty, and if so, it's motivate tasks from the callback queue to the callbacks, and if so, it moves tasks from the callback. Okay, so it is empty. If it's empty, and if so, it moves tasks from the callback. It moves tasks from callbacks. It moves tasks from callbacks queue to next queue यहाँ पे आता है everything will be come to data structure, ठीक है? You will just understand that what is they will stack or queue. So it is a term of to just how and the code will be effectively, ठीक है? So if you have know the basic idea of data structure, you should understand this concept easily. In starting, I have also facing the problem, but yeah, but right now I can understand it. Okay. And if you can't understand it, just comment down. I will try to explain you as a teacher. By the way, I'm not a teacher, I'm still student, but I can still try my best to understand what is an event loop is. Okay. Due to the call stack. Call stack. This allow JavaScript. Okay. This allow JavaScript. This allow JavaScript. This allow JavaScript to async handle async task like API call and a timer without blocking execution. ठीक है? Async task like API calling and API calling, which is an API calling, and the next is just like API calling and API calls and timers. API calls and timer without blocking execution, without blocking execution. Okay, here it is an completely answer. ठीक है? And we will just revise it again and just try to understand you so you can also should know that what is an actually I'm doing in that code. ठीक है? So JavaScript is just like I'm go to that notion and simply that JavaScript is a single threaded. ठीक है? You know that JavaScript is a single threaded JavaScript and Java is a multi-threaded. ठीक है? You know that what is a single threaded and multi-threaded? If you know that, just comment down. ठीक है? And event loop is a mechanism that manage asynchronous operation. Asynchronous operation, that operation that will take time. ठीक है? And it is continuously check if the stack is empty. ठीक है? वो check करता रहेगा कि stack is empty or not. If it is an empty, it will simply move to the task from callbacks queue to the callback task. This allows JavaScript to handle asynchronous tasks like API calls and timer without blocking execution. Okay, so we should also understanding the event loop, and here is the debouncing and thro throttling. ठीक है? So now just go to there and ask the interviewer asked me a question. What is debouncing and अरे what the fuck is that? I forget it. Debouncing and throttling, ठीक है? And the interviewer asked me a question. What is throttling and what is debouncing? आओ तुम भी आज सुन लो दास्ता है ये कि एक था नौजवान जो दिल में What is debouncing? ठीक है, simple technique. Here, debouncing is a technique that delays the execution of a function until a certain amount of time has passed. Since you have last event, it helps is to use a stop trailing the event. Real life example, search bar typing, ठीक है? Auto save resize event. It users types quickly. API call should happen only after user stop typing. Just like debouncing is just like in a simple answer, debouncing is a performance optimization technique where a function execution is delayed until a certain time has passed since the last event. It is commonly used in search input to avoid making too many APIs calls while the user is typing. Okay. ओके ओके debouncing का हम यूज करते हैं टू फॉर द परफॉर्मेंस ऑप्टिमाइजेशन. Okay, debouncing just like this is a basic. I think it is a not a basic question if you are just going to the interview in interview. So there are some moving to some hard question. ठीक है? It's not an easy question. ठीक है? So first thing I just need to understand this and It is a different wait until stop, run it, take a best combination, best combined answer. See, debouncing delayed the execution of a function until the user stop triggering the event. Okay, debouncing delay the execution. Debouncing delay the execution. Okay, okay. Debouncing. Here is debouncing and throttling. Okay. Here is the debouncing and the throttling, and here is the definition. And debouncing delete the execution. Okay. De debouncing debouncing delete the functions delete the execution of a function. Delete the execution of a function. Okay. It is just to the user triggering and and triggering the event triggering the event. Okay. Triggering the event and triggering the event triggering the event and let's start triggering the event on once you have to just like an event with the delimiter while throttling limit often a function while throttling limits how often a function can run within a specific time within a specific time within a specific time within a specific time. Okay, interval. Just read a full sentence. I just read. Both are used to improve performance. ठीक है सिंपल दोनों में कॉमन क्या है both are optimize used to improve performance. ठीक है improve used to improve performance and in in event like typing scrolling typing scrolling scrolling or resizing. ठीक है here it is an our last answer. ठीक है that is our last answer of this revision. ओके डीबाउंसिंग क्या करता है वो डिले करता है एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ फंक्शन अंटिल द यूजर स्टॉप द ट्रिगर. ठीक है वो डिले करता है जब तक कि यूजर ट्रिगर नहीं करता फंक्शंस को. एंड थ्रोटलिंग विल लिमिट हाउ ऑफ्टन अ फंक्शन कैन रन विदाउट अ स्पेसिफिक टाइम इंटरवल. ठीक है बोथ आर यूज टू improve अ परफॉर्मेंस इन इवेंट लाइक टाइपिंग स्क्रॉलिंग और रिसाइजिंग. ठीक है when answering interview when in answering this always give a real example that show practical experience. So real world experience is just like कि क्या है सर्च बार टाइपिंग. ठीक है ऑटो सेव रिसाइज इवेंट इट यूज टिपिकली क्विकली एपीआई कॉल. ठीक है एपीआई कॉल शुड हैपन ओनली आफ्टर यूजर स्टॉप टाइपिंग. ठीक है एंड व्हाट इज थ्रोटलिंग. A throttling is a technique that ensure a function is executed at most one in a specific time interval. ठीक है it limit how often a function run. ठीक है real life example scroll event button spam click window resize. ठीक है even if you user scroll continuously function run only once every 1 second for example. Okay, okay. Yeah, I understand that it's just basically used to improve the performance. Okay, there is nothing any hard in this. Okay, so finally my today's JavaScript async advanced concept will be completed. Just before the finishing this streaming session, we have just revised it again. In this we have to understand what is callback. A callback is a function that is passed to another function as an argument, and it is executing after task is completed. Okay, it is commonly used in asynchronous programming. Okay, callback क्या is a function that is also passed as an argument to another function, and it will be, and when the one function is completed it will moving to another. ठीक है, एंड कॉल बैक हेल्प भी हमने समझ लिया है. एंड वी हैव शुड ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड द promises, async await, and fetch API. And where is the callback hell happen when multiple function nested inside each other, making the code hard to read and maintain. And promises क्या, अब sorry, a promise is a JavaScript object that represents the eventual completion of failure of an asynchronous operation. It has three steps, three states pending: fulfilled and rejected. Async await. It is a modern way to handle asynchronous operation in a JavaScript. It makes asynchronous code look behave like synchronous code, so it is easier to read, maintain, and understand. And fetch API क्या है? Fetch API is a modern method to make HTTP request to a server. It is a mainly used to get and send data from an API. Error handling is a technique used to handle runtime error in a promises so that the application does not crash. We handle error using try catch and throw method. ठीक है, and try handle risky code while catching, handling error, and throw is used to create custom error. Okay, and this is the, and we have just used this for a event loop na, event loop. ठीक है, just I need to mention the event loop here. ठीक है, and I know that कि you can't understand this in as a one time. I'm also struggling to learning this from the there, but you have to just need a repetition. ठीक है, once I have completed that, here you can see that they will just tell you the next round will be, next revision is 8 January, and this will also gone. So I will be revise this in after 2 days. ठीक है, so today is 2 and the 4 we have to revise this concept again. Okay, so now just everything is okay, and I will be just need to disconnect this streaming session. Before disconnecting this streaming session, if you have any question related to that tag or a interview, you can just simply ask me in the comment section. Okay, because right now my all task is completed. By the way, today's mini vlog I don't posted it because I have not edited yet. ठीक है, so उसको भी edit करना है. So I think I should need to go before, otherwise it will be skipped, because I will be taking a challenge to just don't forget to just post it, because just like consistency maintain करनी चाहिए even if your result is not good, but still you have to just focusing on a consistency. So if anybody who's currently my live viewer is 5 viewers, if you have any question related to tech or anything, you can simply ask it. You can simply ask me any question related to the tech or anything you have just need in your mind, because my everything, well, बाकी my study will completed now, so that's why I'm just waiting for you. So just can you tell me that? Okay, and we have getting a 25 votes today, and vote just like you have learned something today. So okay, if any who's yes saying yes, what topic are you learning today? What topic are you learning today? What topic are you learning today? Hmm? Is 5 viewers of watching this streaming session, is they are bot, or you are just simply tell me that anything? Just tell me that if you just don't need it, just tell them ki close the streaming session. I can close it, because if you have no question, that can also I probably close this streaming session in just few minutes. I'll be just waiting if anybody has a question, because while doing streaming, while doing revising, I'm just not be able to give the answer of all the questions, so I just don't write it. Okay, so I think this time to end the streaming session. I hope you like this streaming session, this JavaScript concept. If you want the access of this Notion template, let me know in the comment section. I will provide you the context of this Notion template in your DMs, not in your DMs. I will just mention it so you can grab it. and use it to your revision session. Okay. And today and yesterday we have to just planning ki what should we have to learning yesterday. Okay. So if you have any question, you can just simply ask me in the comment section. I'll probably reply to the every comments that you have in right in the comment section. Okay. So just bye bye, take care, good night, and just doing coding every single day because consistency is the most important part. Okay. So now it's time to bye. Bye bye.